So now let's go through this process of building a staking model. And
Mhm.
so you can have so let's just define a box with the parameters. So you have generally let's say you start with a X amount of supply, and then you have
Mhm.
inflation, and
Mhm.
the inflation is distributed pro rata to the validators and
Validators.
return to the delegators.
Mhm.
And you also have transaction fee based fees that
Mhm. Mhm.
apps pay in order to get that
Mhm.
security. Now, that's the overall framework, and that's very similar to every other proof of stake
Mhm.
network. Just the parameters change. So, starting from scratch, can you walk me through? You have a blank sheet.
Mhm.
How would you build this model? And what were some of the things that you had to iterate multiple times on? And what,
Mhm.
yeah, just walk me through that story there.
Maybe I can talk about the effective proof of stake that
Okay.
we have. That actually takes it's a different take on how you said pro rata distribution of the block rewards. We actually do this in a different way where we
Yeah.
calculate an F. Yeah. Okay. So we have something called effective stake, and that means imagine every all validators stakes being distributed on a chart, and this we select the median stake, that is the median validator, and we have this constant or a variable which is 15% right now. If you're greater than the 1.15 of the median, that means that validator is a large validator because it's getting too far apart from the median, and we kept their rewards as if they're max 1.15 of the median. So they can have, let's say, 10x of the median, but they will only earn as if they have 1.15 times of the median stake balance. And that goes on the other side of the chart as well. If you're a small validator, let's say your stake is 1/10 of the median stake, but you made it to the committee because there were enough slots. In this case, we want to boost this validator by matching its stake with, again, with the 15%, but now in the other side. So it's like 0.85 times median. That validator will earn as if it has that many stakes, whereas actually in real life, they have actually really low stakes. So that actually creates the small validators to have really high expected returns, which is the primary metric for delegators to decide when they're looking at our staking dashboard. That is the primary metric. And so that's why we designed it in a way that will bring the smaller validators more upfront, especially on staking dashboard, as well as um, incentivizing them to get receive a lot more delegations.
And so
Mhm.
my follow-up question there is you have the median, and what if the median starts to drift upwards, which is a sign of centralization,
Mhm.
uh, which means you have to constantly onboard
Mhm.
smaller validators. Uh,
Mhm.
is that a scenario that you envision happening?
Mhm. Yes. So I think we're at that stage where we did best kind of setting up like the algorithm and the model, but now it's actually about bringing all those people one by one and actually onboarding them to the system. We actually have another concept where we have this BLS keys or slots that represent this 320 slots in our mainnet. So each validator can actually bid for multiple slots. And what happens right now in the chain is there are some larger validators. They're mostly receiving delegations from the community and from like large exchanges, for example. What they do is they keep adding more BLS keys to their nodes. And that means they're adding more nodes. So they're actually signing more transactions in parallel, more blocks in parallel. So actually acting like multiple nodes in that sense. So that is another nuance that we have, that validators have to keep playing with their number of BLS keys to adjust their bids. And that essentially gives their ranking in the community.
So I guess that addresses the point where I'm guessing these validators are anonymous. They don't have to go through a KYC program, or, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, initially you're going to have a whitelist while the network is still reaching stability. But in the future, this idea that you just shared will prevent validators from splitting their stake and appearing as two validators, even though in theory it's the same validator on the back end.
Yeah, I think if they have a malicious intention behind that, they can still do that. I think the setup allows that, definitely. But what we see in validator behavior is they don't want to split up their validators because they spend a lot on awareness, marketing, like the name of that validator,
Right.
and they want to just give like a one link, stake with us, just link on the dashboard. So yeah, I was also expecting like, oh, like how are we gonna know which validators who? But they're actually incentivized to have a single validator. But you can, if you go to our staking dashboard, you can see, if you go to a validator detail page, a profile page, you see how many slots they're running in which shard. So that tells you how much of voting power together with their stake they have in the system.